Out on a limb. Next to the doctor's office was a small bookstore, and I started looking for books about life after death. Many were an extension of Buddhism. I also found books written by known mediums and psychics in Japan. The reincarnation part was easy to swallow. I could understand the whole theory, but there were problems. I did not remember my past life at that time, and I was trying to remember how I got reincarnated into this life. I continued to look for other books, and one caught my eye. The book was Out on a Limb, written by Academy Award-winning actress Shirley MacLaine. Somehow, my eyes were almost glued to this book, like my eyes had their own consciousness or something. It was a peculiar experience, almost like my eyes were highly magnetized to that book. As I told you, I did not know I had ESP then. It had already come to the surface to tell me I had ESP. It surfaced from nowhere when I went to Peru. When I faced that book, part of me wanted to take it, but somehow another part was scared and rejected. That day, I did not buy it. It took a few days, but I made up my mind, tried not to think of anything, and bought it. Reading Out on a Limb was a big surprise. I enjoyed reading it, and everything in that book about her life experiences fascinated me. So I bought another of her books, and then another. I started learning about alternative healing and its possibilities, including meditation, healing meditation, image healing, acupuncture, herbal medicine, nutrition, energy healing, etc. I was also fascinated by the channeling phenomena in her books. The numbers were still high since my treatment was not going well and I had nothing to lose. I decided to try the healing and chakra meditations in her book, Going Within. I also bought a video version and started to meditate every night while watching the video and during the daytime whenever I had time, even while walking or waiting for something. My primary goal was to heal my liver, focusing on the third chakra. I read books about spiritualism, life and death, health, alternative healing, etc. Another book caught my eye again. The book was Bashar, channeled by Daryl Anka. The first book came with an audio recorded cassette tape. This book made a substantial hit in Japan in the 90s. The publisher described Bashar as cosmic consciousness and a cosmic being in Japanese, and I had difficulty understanding it. What the heck is cosmic consciousness? Because of the unfamiliarity and strangeness, I felt something weird. I was drawn to it. Like out on a limb, I told myself not to overthink and bought it. Again, I was surprised and enjoyed reading it. Bashar Vault 1 came with an audio cassette tape. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it. The first time I heard Bashar's voice was terrific. Full of excitement, he spoke fast and upbeat, almost like an explosion of energies. Sometimes he was so funny he made me laugh and smile. Overall, it was a thrilling experience. Many people think it's crazy, but it doesn't matter because Bashar fascinated me and made me believe he was real. At least he was inside my mind and in others. Since Bashar fascinated me in many ways, I read all the volumes and started reading other channeled materials as much as I could find in the bookstore. Since Bashar fascinated me, I decided to play the audio while I slept. I went to bed, put on earphones, and listened while falling asleep. I don't remember how long I was asleep or unconscious, but suddenly I woke up and couldn't move an inch. My mind was wide awake, but I couldn't associate it with my body. It was almost like I had somehow detached from it. I was in a bit of a panic and desperately tried to move, but it wasn't working. Soon, I felt invisible hands inside my stomach, which moved to my liver. The hands started to do something surgical. I felt the hands grasp my organs several times, not too harshly, but not gently either. Immediately, I felt exquisite pain, panicked, and then I passed out. This was the first time I experienced healing from the invisible team of doctors. It was frightening the first time. The invisible team of doctors came to help me, so I took it with gratitude instead of panicking and being scared. It was quite an incredible experience, but I did not give up listening to the audio tape. I did for some time, but the same thing never happened again. Different phenomena started. While I was sleeping, suddenly I woke up and felt massive heat all over my liver. My liver heated up in the middle of the night for no reason, and it happened several times. Sometimes, my mind could capture the colors of that heat. It was golden yellow and sometimes slightly orangish golden. I also continued doing healing meditation and the third chakra meditation daily. And a surprise arrived. I saw a doctor every day, and from time to time, he tested my blood to check the numbers, and he told me my numbers went down drastically. They were slightly higher than the normal range, but far better than before. The doctor was wondering why it suddenly changed and asked me if I was doing something besides medication. So I told him maybe a little exercise and changing diets. I don't know. He wouldn't believe it if I told him what was happening, so I made it up. Those invisible doctors did not completely cure my hepatic symptoms, but they made me feel better. I continued to have liver issues after that for quite a long time. Still, those experiences taught me there is a different approach to healing. I started to think that if I could learn how to do energetic healing, I might be able to maintain or improve my condition. That's how my interest shifted toward energetic healing. Calling the tour conductor kept talking, and the conversation reached the point of why I decided to join this tour. As I mentioned before, Shirley MacLaine's Out on a Limb was the start, and somehow I found the movie version of this book made for a 6-hour TV program at the rental video store near my house, and I rented it without hesitation. It was 2 video cassettes. I returned home, put the first cassette into the video player, and started watching. I had already read the book, so I knew how it went, but watching a dramatized movie played by herself was such a joy. Cassette 1 was enjoyable, particularly when she met 2 trans channels on 2 different continents, and a scene with American channel Kevin Ryerson was so amazing. This was the first time I saw channeling on TV. It was jaw-dropping amazement. I finished the first cassette delightfully and put the second cassette into the player, and then something unknown started to happen. The second cassette opens with scenes of the valley near Machu Picchu and other remote locations, from lush green rainforest to the Amazon River and the city of Machu Picchu. After those scenes flowed to my TV screen, I suddenly had a strange headache. It was not a migraine or any problem I had before, and it was getting more intense as the movie progressed. My third eye and the core part of my brain felt like they were contracting, and it was like I had a heart beating inside my head. At some point, I felt myself almost being vacuumed up from my body. It was almost like something invisible, a solid force, was pulling me up from my body to take me somewhere. I was so scared of this phenomenon. This unknown, devastating situation frightened me until the movie ended. I don't want to. I want to watch this video. I don't want to go. Please stop this. I almost pulled out of my body at the end, but I clung to my body so hard I did not come out. Anyway, it was so unknown and devastating to have such an experience that it scared me deeply. I was too inexperienced then, not immune to this phenomenon, and had no idea what happened. As I look back, I should have allowed it to happen, and I regret it. After this shocking event, I felt something calling me from there. I must go to Peru and visit Machu Picchu. That is how it started. I had a calling. I did not know what exactly, did not know why, but I knew I had better go there. If I get there, I will know why. I will find something I'm trying to remember now when I get there. So I said to nobody, okay, I want to go there. I'm still determining how and when, but I will go there. Let me know the way I will get there. Please help me to go there. And then something responded. I told my friend I wanted to go to Peru, and he handed me the information immediately. I did not know what would be waiting for me, and we all had no idea what the starting point would be. I got money and vacation time, and I met 36 other people on board, and we jumped into this journey. We landed at San Jose International Airport at just about noon. Getting out of the airplane, the sunshine was more intense and sharp to me, and the air was drier. I felt just right and so open. Visiting California had been one of my dreams since I was 17 or 18 years old. I knew it was a common thought, but I was a little obsessed with being in California. My mom shut the door to being in Long Beach to be trained with the U.S. swimming team when I was 14. My swimming coach wanted another girl swimmer and me to go to Long Beach, Los Angeles, for training, but my mom didn't ask me and said no. I heard this story soon after, and I was so disappointed and cried. I missed a chance to go there to be trained with the U.S. swimming team. First vision, parade palms. I had my first spiritual experience when I was 21. At that time, drafting layouts on white paper, making mechanicals, and some color indications for film separation, everything in the printing process was done by hand. Desktop publishing in the design industry was in the beginning stage. I was a beginner. Sometimes I did not know how to start the layout because of inexperience. Then something extraordinary happened. I faced a big blank layout paper. It was quite a big wonder how to draft a plan. Suddenly I was somewhere else, not in the office. I saw the bright, vibrant blue sky and parades of palm trees from beneath. I saw palm tree leaves moved by the wind, felt the air and smelled the scents. It was so bright and vivid. I don't know how long I stood there, maybe a few seconds, 5 or 10 seconds. I lost track of time, and when I returned, that feeling and atmosphere stayed with me for over half a day. I was in a strange place. At that moment, somehow, I thought it was somewhere in California. Instinctively, I felt I needed to go there. At lunchtime, I visited the tour agency nearby to see how to visit Los Angeles. I had never had an overseas trip before, and later on I wondered how I could move to California. I was obsessed with moving there, but it didn't go well. Young me thought I might have lived there in a past life, perhaps in the 1920s, because I am obsessed with that particular period in America. It may have been crucial for me to understand my life. It was like a movie, a visual message from the future. It was a prophetic vision. The boss called my coworkers and me and then told us to go to the islands of Hawaii. It wasn't California, I misinterpreted it. It was Hawaii, and I did not know how my life was tied to that place. When I look back on this first prophetic vision experience, it was an astral trip from my current perspective, but I had no knowledge or understanding of it at that time. I had some psychic abilities to perceive or receive spiritual visions that had already manifested at that age, but I did not think that way. I had no idea why or how it happened. Strangely, I did not question the experience itself. I didn't think it was crazy, even though I was driven by it for a while. Standing on San Jose's ground relaxed me and soothed my spirit somehow. I felt like I was breathing air more naturally, making me feel pretty and open to waiting for adventure. It was a few hours of transit to Los Angeles. I decided to get out of the terminal. It was a little adventure because I had never done such a thing. The signs were all in English, and I was a bit scared to do so. But I got out of the terminal, walked outside, and saw people from the same tour sitting on the grass, relaxing, talking, and hanging out. I did not know them yet, but felt encouraged because I was not alone. They looked so free, so relaxed, and comfortable with themselves. I had never felt free or open or met people like them. I wanted to be like them, but needed to learn to become free. I just stood beside them and admired their freedom and expression. When I realized that joining this tour was the right choice to get to know these like-minded people with similar interests, it made a huge difference because I made lifelong friends through this tour. After returning to the spacious airport terminal, I met Tadashi for the first time. He came from Tokyo, and his profession was video cameraman working in the commercial industry. I was a graphic designer, and we became friends quickly because our job backgrounds helped. I immediately felt comfortable with him somehow. There was some connection. I did not know what it was then, but it was there for us. Later, we discovered we were set to be roommates for the entire trip. Tadashi has always been beside me from then on. We didn't know why we shared the same room, but it was a significant experience. Tadashi walked through this unknown adventure with me and became an eyewitness to everything that happened to me.